everything else was coming out of my mouth except for help me, and I really needed help. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry my voice sounds like this. I am a little sick. If you're reading the title, then you know that this is going to be a story time about my abuse when I was a teen. My first boyfriend, and if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and just like, comment, and share, or don't share this one, share the other ones. Yeah, stay tuned. Okay guys, when I was 14, I met a young man that we're gonna call him Bob. Okay, Bob was, that's one word about it. Bob was my very first real relationship. He was the very first guy that I had ever, like, I guess you can say, really took serious. I did not tell my mom and my dad about Bob until Bob was, well, until I was 16, and at the time when I was 16, Bob was 20, I believe. And or either he was getting ready to be 20. When I met Bob, he was a really, really nice guy, per usual. Like most people, he was really nice, really sweet person. Didn't show any signs to me personally as a person who could be harmful in any way, because he was so sweet, so nice. And first mistake of mine is forgiving him when he was supposed to meet me on New Year's. I was supposed to go with my friend, and it was like I'm going with my friend, but I'm really meeting up with the guy I called my boyfriend. My mom and dad did not know about at the time. And he stood me up. Yeah, he stood me up, and I forgave him because I'm like, you know, it was my first relationship, and I'm like, I forgive you. I understand, like, situations, things happen. At the time, he didn't have a car, which should have been my personal flag number one, but it wasn't flag number one for me. Okay guys, I'm gonna make this story I'm gonna make this story pretty quick, because it's not something that I really want to touch bases on. I do want to talk about it though, because I think that personally that there's a lot of people out there who I'm sorry about the bottle cloud. There's a lot of people out there who go through exactly what I went through, and who are afraid to share their story, or who are afraid to leave and get out of that situation. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that if you are struggling to get out of that situation, there are numbers that you can definitely dial that will help you if you can't trust family members. And I will search for those numbers and put them in the description box. Okay guys, so the first time that he ever put his hands on me was when I was at his mom's house, his mom and dad's house. We were all outside, and I had confronted him about a young lady that had texted him saying some very vulgar things, and he got mad at me, and my husband's in there, y'all. I think my whole house is sick, but he got mad at me, and he choked me, and like he basically choke slammed me in front of everyone. And at the time I had on a dress, and for me that was not only embarrassing to be like, manhandled like that or abused in front of everyone and them not help me, but it was just embarrassing overall because my skirt, like my dress or whatever I had on at the time, I think it was a dress, but it came up, like, y'all, it showed everything, okay? And so I got in my car and left. Now his dad, however, who was a really, really nice man, well, he was nice to me, and he consoled me and talked to me and told me that I shouldn't let anybody treat me like that, and he actually told me that I should go home and never talk to him again after that, and which is what I should have done, but obviously being young and dumb, I didn't. So I didn't talk to him for I think 4 or 5 days, and then when he did talk to me, just, the whole usual, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, I was having a bad day, just the normal. And instead of me being like, well, you still shouldn't do that to me, and like not talking to him, I said, you still shouldn't do that to me, but it's okay, I understand. And that was mistake number one, because when you forgive them for doing it one time, they're going to do it again. And that's a lesson that I've learned personally myself, with that situation. And after that, I took him back, and like a week later, he asked me would I come and see him, and I said yeah. I asked my mom and dad, and they were like, yeah, go ahead, like, it's fine, but be back at a certain time. And I'm like, okay. So I go up there. Now, go mind you guys, it's 30 minutes, like 30 to 45-minute drive from where I live at that time. And when I got there, he wasn't there. Now, he asked me to come see him, and I went, and he wasn't there. I wasn't mad that he wasn't there. At the time, I was just like, oh, well, there is no telling what he could be doing right now. Stupid, okay? Young. Not stupid, but young. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. Getting over a cold, which is why my voice is like this, but long story short, I call him. It took at least 6 calls for him to answer me. And when he did answer me, I asked him where was he at, and he told me he was with his mom. I'm like, okay. Now, I knew she didn't like me, but I'm like, okay, well, when will you be back? Or at the time, she actually did like me at the time. But I'm like, okay, so when will you be back? And he's like 10 or 20 minutes. Okay, 10 to 20 minutes turns into 2 hours. Those 2 hours turns into 4. Now, this is a Saturday, guys. So I went early that morning. Like, I'm talking like I got there at like 10. So 2 hours turned into 4. 4 hours turned to 6, and it was just getting later and later. And then his dad finally pulled up. And when his dad pulled up, it's almost dark outside. Now, I got there when it was very bright. And his dad pulls up, and his dad is like, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, he asked me to come see him, and I've been sitting here for, at the time, like 6 hours. And he was like, when did you get here? And I'm like, I got here at like 10 or 11. And so he let me inside. But when he let me inside, I'm gonna skip what happened then, and we're gonna go to him getting kicked out. He got kicked out of his mom and his dad's house because something about somebody wanted money, he wouldn't give it, blah blah blah, and that's neither here nor there. But what is important is what happens when he moved in with my parents and I in a guest room, and because my parents are not people that will let anybody stay on the street. They're very kind and genuine people. So he had it, like, we had a guest room. My mom and dad let him stay there. Against my dad's will, my mom was not going to leave him out on the street, especially knowing that I cared about him. But then it was only until he got on his feet, by the way. But then he gets on his feet and he asked me to move in with him. Now, after that one incident, we were good. So I, of course, said, sure, yes, I'll move in with you. Like, this is such a big step in our life. It's how I felt. No, I was also in college at the time. So I moved in with him, and when I moved in with him, it didn't go well, guys. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. It didn't go well. When I moved in with him, literally a week later, he got mad at me for something that I did. I don't even remember what it was. And I just remember him pinning me down. Both of his hands was holding my arm, pinning my arms down. And his knee was in my stomach. And I just lost breath. Like, I couldn't breathe. And I blacked out. And when I blacked out, I just remember waking up and I had no clothes on. I was completely naked. And I really just, I don't know, like, why I was naked. I just know that I was naked, and I asked him what happened, and he didn't tell me. He was just like, you're alive, don't worry about it. Or you're breathing or some shit. He said, whatever he said, it was just plain out evil. And at that moment, I had never been scared of anything or anyone. But at that moment, I was terrified. I can't even front. I was scared. I was scared to go home. I was scared to tell my parents because I'm like, you know, what if he stalks me and does something to me? Like, I was just terrified. So I decided to go, and I tried to leave. I did try to leave, guys. I tried to leave in the middle of the night, and he called me, and he was crying and, like, basically manipulating me into staying with him. And I did, and I was like, okay, like, I don't want to see anyone cry. I don't want anyone to be sad. So I stayed, and me not realizing that staying will only make it worse for me, but I guess better for him, because he knew that I was a person who didn't want to see anybody hurt, and he really took advantage of that. And so, like, every other week, it was like something happened, you know what I'm saying? Like, and his go-to move was always the holding my arms down and knee, like his knee in my stomach, or either just choking me out completely. That was always his go-to move. But that first time, it was the only time I woke up naked, and still to this day, I'm like, why was I naked? But I just left it alone. And but then his mom and dad ends up moving in with us, and I didn't like okay that, you know, like, we both were paying bills, we both were working, and I didn't tell him that it was okay for them to move in with us. Although I had no problem with his dad, his mom hated me. She really, really hated me. Okay guys, I'm back. As I was saying, his mom hated me. I don't know why she did, but she really hated me. And honestly, my nose is so stuffed up, guys. But honestly, um, she just didn't like me. But it got really, really bad after that, especially when I confronted him and asked him why he didn't let me know that his mom and dad was moving in, because he didn't tell me. And when I confronted him, he got really, really pissed off, and he choked me again. And I remember, like a couple hours after it happened, I called my dad, and this part makes me cry even more, because I called my dad and I didn't know how to tell my dad that I needed help. I was scared, guys. And I called and talked to him like normal, and I asked him what was he doing, and like how was, like, you know, work going shop and stuff like that. And he asked me what was wrong. He could tell something was wrong, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him what was going on. I was just scared, and in the back of my mind, like, I was just screaming, like, help me, like Dad, please help. And I don't think I ever told him this. Like, half these things my dad doesn't know, but I was screaming like, Dad, help me. And I didn't like know, oh my God, I didn't know how to say it. Like, everything else was coming out of my mouth except for help me, and I really needed help. I remember also like asking my uncle, which is my dad's brother. I asked him to come stay with him, and I think he told me okay, but I never went because I was so scared to leave, y'all. I tried to leave in the middle of the night, and he was crying and stuff. And then I also tried to leave again, like during the day, and I told him I was going to see my mom, and he like hid the keys. And so I'm like, I know like he was stronger than me, so I knew that if I tried to fight him, I would lose. And so I was just like terrified of what he may do, because in my mind I'm like, this guy, he's psycho, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's crazy. But then skip all of that, like he wasn't paying his part of the rent, I was paying mine, and we ended up having to move. And when we moved, I got everything in my name, and I shouldn't have, and I didn't feel like I felt like if I didn't, like, I didn't know what would happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have just been like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, like, I'm not doing this, then I don't know like what he would have did to me, because I mean, look what everything he did before. So long story short, whenever I got everything in my name, we're in this house. It's me, him, his mom, his dad, and his dad was a really nice guy. He was not really there much, but me, him, his mom, his dad, and then his mom, I'm not going to talk about that because it has nothing to do with this, but his dad, not his dad, oh my Jesus Christ, he wanted to use a phone that I had one day, because he didn't have a phone, but I had one, and he wanted to use it. And I told him, like, yeah, sure, you can use it, because he didn't have a phone. I told him that we can like share my phone, and I was okay with that. Like, that didn't bother me. But then I told him I needed to call my mom, and he ran in the bathroom. But when he came out the bathroom, I grabbed my phone from him, and I was like, hey, I really need to call my mom. So I started dialing the number, and when I like was going toward the steps, because at the time we did live in a townhome, I was going toward the steps, and he pushed me down the steps, and the look he gave me, it was just so evil. Like he just wanted to kill me. Like, he wished that pushing me down those steps would have killed me. And I ended up hurting my ankle. And I remember his aunt, like, cause she stayed with us too, and she was checking on me, and she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But my ankle was really hurt, guys. And like, I just didn't understand like what I did to him, or why like it was happening to me, you know what I'm saying? And skip to a couple of days after that, he got mad at me because he had this girl that he had brought around me, and I was cool with her. Like, I didn't have a problem with her until like she opened up and told me that they were sleeping together, and I asked him about it. But when I asked him about it, he got so angry at me that like he legit punched me in the ribs. And I didn't know, like, asking a simple question could trigger someone so bad. So I just didn't ask anything else. And he kept asking me to use my car, and I kept saying no because I didn't agree with what he was doing at the time. And I was like, I don't agree with that, so no, I can't like agree for you to use my car, because if something happens to me, like, I feel like it will fall back on me because it's my car. And he was like, no, it won't fall back on you. And I'm like, yeah, it will. And so this was the final draw. Was he went and took my car without me knowing. Him and his mom left, and I don't know what they went to do. I don't even want to speak on that. But they left and they used my car. And I called up and I said, hey, I didn't say that you could use my car. Like, so I would really appreciate it if you brought my car back, because I didn't give you permission to use my car. And he was like, you know, obviously the usual calling me all type of names. Like, he was not only like physically abusive, he was very verbal abusive as well. But I feel like that could be for a whole nother story time, because that's a whole nother story in itself. But I asked him to bring my car back. So when he brought it back, it was like hours and hours later, but I finally got it back, and I was just happy to have my car back because it was back in one piece. And so I was like, I'm going to the store, and he was like, okay, well, I'm coming with you. So he jumps in the car with me, which I was fine with. I'm like, okay, you can come with me. And so he jumps in the car with me, and like we get to arguing, and he's mad, and he's like mugging my head, and he's just like mugging my head. And I'm driving, we could have easily wrecked, but he literally did not care. And he's mugging my head, and I'm just like, and I'm just like trying not to cry, because I'm a very sensitive person. So we get to the store, I go inside, and I get like what I went to the store to get, but I also got him like the things that I know that he liked. And now I look back at it, I'm like, how do you still think about someone when they're like being so mean to you? And I still don't understand it to this day. I'm still the same way in that predicament. Like I'm still like, I still think about other people even when they're being mean to me. And I need to work on that. But I paid for it, and when I walked outside, he was gone, y'all. Like, he grabbed my keys and took off in my car. I didn't even know he had my keys. Like, I could have sworn my keys were in my hand, and I guess he grabbed them when I wasn't paying attention, and he took off in my car, and he was gone for an hour, almost 2 hours. It was like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So this was the most embarrassing thing ever. Like, the other thing was embarrassing, but this is like a store full of people that don't know me, and I'm just sitting there like, this man took off in my car, and I'm looking dumbfounded because I didn't know what to do. Like, I really did not know what to do. Like, he was just like, I really don't understand to this day how somebody can be like that, but there are so many people like that in the world. And I called my brother, like, after an hour and a half, I called my brother, and I have 6 brothers, by the way, and 1 sister, but I called my brother, Shane, and I'm pretty sure he probably remembered this, and I asked him to please come and get me. And he asked me what happened, and I told him when he got there, because I was honestly just too embarrassed. And then he got back before my brother did, because my brother had lived like 30-45 minutes away, and he got back before my brother did. And when he got back, he was like, he came in the store and he's like, "Alright, let's go." And I'm walking out the store, and he trips me, and when he trips me, like, I fall like flat on my face with all this stuff in my hand. It wasn't like a whole lot, it was like 2 bags, but I fell with all the stuff in my hands. And I look up, and like, I'm looking at all these people pumping gas and stuff, and they're just staring at me, and I'm so embarrassed. And he's laughing because he thinks that this is like the biggest joke, that he just tripped me in front of all these people. And for me, that was a draw. And it was, you would think that everything else would have been a draw, but that, for me, that was it. Like, looking up and seeing those people like look at me and feel bad for me, it was just, for me, that was it. Like, that's all it took. And I got in the car, and I locked the door, and I told him that I was going home. I don't know how he was going to find his way home. And I drove, and I told him that I was packing up my things and I was leaving, and he thought I was lying. So he called a ride back. And when he got back, my brother was there, because I called my brother and told my brother to come to, like, you know, the house that I was staying at the time, townhome. And he got there, and my brother was basically there for security reasons, to make sure nobody tried to like hurt me or anything like that, and especially him, like, to make sure he didn't try to lay a hand on me. And so my brother was just like waiting, and he was outside waiting on me to grab my things, and I grabbed everything and I left. And I laughed at him because the first thing came out of his mouth, and his mouth was, "You will be back." And I laughed, and I said, "No, I won't." And I left, and I got in my car, and my brother followed me to make sure nobody tried to follow me or anything, because, I mean, they didn't have a car no way, but make sure, just to be on the safe side. So he followed me, make sure I made it home. And on my way home, I was driving, and I'm crying, because like, I spent so much time, and so, like, such, to me, a big part of my life going through the ringer in this relationship and doing it in secret, majority of it in secret, because I didn't want anybody to know. And I know that when my father watches this, when my mother watches this, that it may break their heart that they didn't realize it, but it's okay. I'm fine now. I'm happy now. I have a wonderful husband and 2 beautiful kids. But I was driving down the road and I had a Pandora bracelet that his mom had bought for me, like bought for him for me, if that makes sense. And I checked it. I'm driving and it was hanging out the window, and for some reason it was so hard to let go, but when I let go of that bracelet, I felt so free, guys. Like, I don't know like how to explain it, but I felt free. And I went to my mom's house. I didn't cry after like tossing that bracelet out of the car and the necklace. I didn't cry. When I got to my mom's house, I was fine, and she asked me, was I okay? And I told her yeah. And I think my mom actually thought I was gonna go back too. She asked me, she said, are you gonna go back? And I told her no, I can't. And she still don't know like the full extent of this story, and she's gonna know it now. But I told her no, I can't. And it makes me cry a little bit. Sorry. It makes me cry because I feel like you never know what God got in store for you. And with that particular situation, it was so hard for me, especially not like being able to open up to people and tell people what was going on, and being so scared of what may happen, because I didn't know if I told anybody if he would kill me or anything. And just seeing where I am now, I mean, I don't have material things, but I have to be one of I'm sorry guys, but I have one of the best husbands and the most wonderful kids, and I'm happy with that. And looking at where I was then at such a young age and where I am now, I couldn't be any more grateful, because part of me feels like if I would have stayed, I wouldn't be here. Even if I would have stayed like another week, another day, like I feel like I wouldn't be here. So I say that to say this: if you feel like you don't know if you can get through it, you can. If you feel like you don't know if you can walk away, you need to, because there's so much more to life and love than to be abused by someone that you think that you love. That's not love. If he puts his hands on you, or if she puts her hands on you, that is not love. Know that you are worth more than you could ever imagine. Don't stick through that. And I'm saying that to say this. I'm gonna look up some numbers, like some 1-800 numbers to help people in those situations. And if you do end up watching this and you need help, I am gonna put those numbers in the description for you. And okay guys, sorry for all of the bawling, but this is gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Peace.